Welcome to the Schminder's 100 Acre Woods. So today is going to be a video, mostly time-lapse, going through and putting up the shell for the grill pavilion. Here, we're starting by making the brackets that will slide over the 4x4s and be bolted to the concrete. So we need to drill holes in the bottom so that it will go through the concrete, but then we also need to drill a couple holes in the pieces that actually go into the 4x4 so that we have a couple of spots to pin the 4x4. So just by using a couple drills, get those set up, and have to go through and sharpen it a couple times, so actually use the drill doctor for that, and it actually works fairly well for those type of bits to sharpen them in between. So we moved the flat deck trailer out and using it as a work platform, just so we're working at waist height instead of having to work on the ground since we have lots of cuts to do. And it's kind of one of those days where it's cloudy, so just working on getting a tent set up. So here we're just kind of looking at what the idea is behind getting the metal down. So we came in a little bit from each side, equal distance, so that we can put that down. And then here is a bundle of the wood we had in the building here that we moved out. And it has some 2x4s, 4x4s, and the 2x8 we need. And here we're just getting the rest of it, so we have plenty to choose from, so we can pick the best of the 4x4s and 2x4s. So we have everything.
This is all the wood we have for like construction. We have some of the siding back around behind the shed. Have all that. Pulled the trailer out to use it as a work platform. Have our pad. Have the metal pieces made. So getting ready.
So we start by getting our 4x4s figured out. So we figure out what we want the height to be. And we started in the back because I wanted to be able to at least walk under it. So we started at 6 feet there and figured out what the height would need to be at the front. So we work on getting our 4x4s cut. So 2 will be used in the back and then 2 will be used in the front. That will be of the same length. So one thing on using our own lumber, we just have to check and make sure that we don't have any cracks. So cut off the end where there's any cracking and checking, and then measure to length. So then here we want the 4x4 in the back to set in. So we need to do some notching for that. And then on the front we want our 2x8 to set in. So basically just using a method similar to what we did on the sawmill building, is just use a circular saw and make a whole bunch of cuts so you end up with the little pieces like is in the bottom right of the picture here. So once he's done doing that, you can take a hammer and get all those knocked out and then use a chisel to clean it up. And in this case he's actually going to use the saw on one side, so he's cut the other side and now on this side, and you'll be able to watch the pieces just fall out. So I actually found this to be a really good method to where you don't end up with as much of the chisel work you have to do at the end. So found this to be a pretty good method of getting a nice clean spot for the 2x8 to sit so that you don't have as much chisel work to do. Still just a little bit there because of how the saw blade works, but you can go through and just do a little bit of cleanup now, like I'm doing there, instead of having to do the entire thing.
Okay, we have these brackets made up, and these aren't quite the same size, so we have to take a little bit off. So Dad's getting the belt sander. We just got to take a little bit off here on each side to get those to fit.
So there's kind of a time lapse of that. So now we're getting the holes drilled through. So you can see on that 4x4 we now have the holes on there. And then we took some of the T-coil, I believe, and just mainly doing the bottoms and the sides that will be contacting the ground so that it doesn't absorb the water. Then got the hammer drill out and set the depth gauge on the right. So we had, I believe, 4-inch bolts for this, so we're going to go just a little bit deeper than 4 inches so that whenever you tighten everything down you don't blow out the concrete. And then you can see there he has the blower out so that you get all the dust out. So here I'm going through and getting them attached.
Got these 4 attached. I'm using some of this rubberized black, just undercoat. Idea is to kind of help create a buffer between the ground and the metal. And then we put some T-coil on the bottoms of those so that the water can't wick through. This is going to help protect since we're not using anything treated and we're using all our own stuff. And then we drilled the 2 holes and the holes in the 4x4s. So Dad's working on getting some all-thread pieces made up that will span that and go through, and so that we can stand those posts up, run the bolts through, and get those all attached. And then we already have the pieces for the crosses over here.
Okay, now that we have all of the metal attached, we go through and start getting our 4x4s put up. So we have the holes pre-drilled, so we just have some all-thread we made to go through there. And we get these put up. Okay, so now we start getting some ties put in. So on the back, we're going to use a 4x4 that's notched on each side. Put a couple screws in that. And then in the front, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use a 2x8 as the header. So we use that on the front and try to make sure it's as level as possible as we put it all together. There's a little bit of tweaking that can be done as we tighten stuff up, but we want to make sure that it's basically the same.
Get some rafters out. So that's what's in this bundle, are some 2x6s that we're going to use as rafters. So we're going to bust this apart and just kind of go through these and get what we need. Nice having our own little supply of wood.
So here we get the first rafter kind of figured out with our pitch we want, and then we go through and make the rest of them. So to make as straight as cut as possible, we try to use the circular saw as much as possible. So make a couple cuts, and then because of the blade, have to go through with the jigsaw and just do a little cut to finish that out. But that's essentially what we do there, and then we cut each of the ends at, I believe it was like a 15-degree angle to mimic whenever you put pieces on so it will be flush. So this is right before we get the rafters up, and you can see there we have all the rafters with bird's mouth cut and the angles cut on the ends. So that way the angle will sit flush on the header, and then when you put a piece of trim at the back, it'll be, you know, parallel to everything and will sit flush. So we get the 3 ones in the middle put on. They're pretty straightforward. The ones on the other side we have to do a little bit of modifying because they'll actually be up against the 4x4s. So we have to change it just a little bit so that it will sit flush.
3 up. I'm working on getting the last 2 on the 4x4s up. We'll have all the rafters up so it's all tied together. Be close to getting some metal on it. And then we'll do a little bit of siding, definitely all the way up the back, and then part way up the sides to kind of match the grills and get it part way up so it kind of blocks the wind, but then the rest of it be open from there up, just so you can kind of have a little bit of ventilation. But it's starting to come together.
So Also nice having everything outside here, just because as you need to make adjustments, you can go over, do a quick cut, and take it back over and just put it right up. So the other thing we decided to do, partly for look and partly for structure, is to get some 4x4 pieces put in at the angles to help stiffen everything. So on those we notched for the 2x6, and then just have it cut at a angle to go against the other 4x4. So we do this both directions. We do it on the inside for the sides, and then we do it on the back on the inside as well. We just do 45s there. But by doing all of this, it really helps strengthen everything and, you know, make it much sturdier. So kind of getting our measure, just do 45s and then run a couple of screws into that. And same thing on the other side, lining up with the bottom just so it's all lines up and looks correct. First we weren't sure if we were going to do the front, but we went ahead and decided to do it. Figured it'd kind of make a nice look to it and help add a little bit of dynamic to the front. So have that put in. Had to do a little bit of modifying there because it's going to fall where the rafter is, but we're able to do that and get it put up.
Here's where we're at. We have all of our braces in, so we put some in the front, the back, and then did some angles here and had the notch and get those all inset, and then just did 45s here. But I think we're getting pretty close to putting the pieces on the top, and then we'll side against the back, and like I said, and then side part way up. We have some pieces of metal that I may use as kind of pseudo wainscoting at the bottom, just to stop any splash up from like the dirt. So it's the next day from working on this picnic pavilion, or the grill pavilion. So basically just kind of wanted to show where we're at with everything. So we got, and then left a foot overhang just to give a little bit of protection, so by the time we put the trim on and get the piece of metal on, it'll hang off, you know, an inch or so, so that'll be good, just to kind of help protect this back. We still need to gonna put a 2-foot overhang out the front, so we're gonna come out a little bit and put some overhang there so you can kind of step in and not have the rain come in the side. Even though with the house and everything here, you know, you won't get too much of the wind because most of the storms are going to come from this way, kind of going that way. So we won't get a whole lot, but it'll help having that overhang there. So we'll get that built. And then once we have that done, we'll get all of the purlins on the top so that we can get our metal attached. So we have all the 2x4s for that. And then we'll also do 1-foot overhang on the side, so much like we built for our other building, the if you watched building the sawmill building, basically we just took 2x4 standing up like this and attach it to the bottom side of the purlin. And on this, like on that, we did 2 feet. On this, we'll probably just come out a foot, just to kind of again help protect the side. And we'll do that on both sides. So that's kind of where we're at with it. So this is all from a poplar tree that we cut down here at the homestead. So you know, it's nice being able to utilize all of our own lumber to build something like this. I think everything here we made, with the exception of the fasteners.
Okay, the next thing to work on is getting the front overhang rafters cut. So we went 2 feet on those, so just gonna cut the 15-degree angle on both sides of those so that they will go up and match the angle going back. So again, the 3 in the middle are pretty straightforward. Get those attached, and then the ones on the end have to kind of go through the 4x4, but they go up pretty quickly. And then on these, we decided that we need to do braces underneath, and since we did a 2x6 onto our 2x8 header, we end up having to do braces that go all the way back to the rafter behind. And then on the 4x4s, we just do braces that go back to them. So once we have all that made, we then can start making our 2x4s that go on top. Ended up doing 18 inches of overhang on the ends, so those are the pieces that we're screwing as uprights. And just mathematically that works out better with the metal roof, so we're able to get all of those put up. Again, just measuring and making sure we don't put them all in a row as far as the splits go, and staggering those. It just makes it more structurally sound.
Okay, quick update on what we got done that I time-lapsed. So we got these front boards on, and then did braces for them back. So we have 2 feet of overhang on the front. Put our top purlins on, and then did 18 inches of overhang on each side. So 18 ends up working out for the total size, so we need 4 sheets of metal to go across. So with 3, wouldn't have quite been enough, and with 4, go ahead and maximize and do the 18. So on these, we just came back to here on those, and then here we had to do some crafting around this one to get it to fit, but did some custom fitment there. And then these here, it will just run back to the 4x4. But with that on there, stiffens it up quite a bit, and then have this overhang on here, so protect this side of the building nicely. So we'll be working on getting putting metal on just to get kind of a roof on it, and then we'll be able to start working on getting the walls built along the side, the back, and the side. Thank you for watching the Schmitter's 100 Acre Woods. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, catch you next time.